picture me, but I'm in a sentence. Feeling in. Almost gave up so many times I can. Yeah, hey, what's your vision? What's your vision and what's your intentions? Been doing this rapping so much I probably go fishing. Take a break, something different. What's vacation to me? Cousin, I barely get sleep. You could go shopping, just get the bags from me. Ain't it funny how the way the word ain't cheap, the way the word ain't free? They set you up to drown, hoping you don't get on your feet. I always believed that there was something higher to reach, and this is why. Nice guy above it begins, so do predictions and assumptions that just come with the trend, and it doesn't end. They map is loaded, searching for hints. Try to see what they get, see if he really legit. To try to see if he really is who he talking about. Man, I'm just like you, man, I'm a human too. Who are you to sit and watch and judge my every...
Hi, my name is King from RV Talk Show. So, this week we had a little bit of a difficulty. We had two guests, SpudBrooklyn and Shaliana. Now, we are going to roll the clip and we're going to show you a little bit of SpudBrooklyn and a little bit of Shaliana. We did a segment on abortion and also social media. Those two segments had got cut off due to technical difficulties. They will be posted later on during probably following 2 Sundays. But still stay tuned. This episode right now will be showing you off for the Florida, the coach who decided to tell kids to stop acting black. And we show a little bit about SpudBrooklyn and Shaliana. At the end, we have a little gift for you. So if you do not see our, usual bye type of thing, it is because we suck at planning things with our phones. But other than that, the show went very smoothly. I am very happy that we had our 2 guests here, and they will be joining us multiple in other videos as well. Elle could not make it to our show because she was sick. So you don't see her, she's still there, and she's still there. Just give a heads up in case y'all like, what the fuck is going on? But thank you. Please comment below and tell friends, tell your friends' friends, tell your friends' mothers of friends, anything else. Alright? Thank you, I'm King. Hi, this is RV. My name is King. My name is Nikki.
My name is K-Light.
And we have a special guest.
SpudBrooklyn.
Yay!
Thank you for having me, guys.
Alright, Spud. So, this is your first time on the talk show.
Yes.
How do you feel about it already? A little hot?
I'm ready to get into it. Some good topics,
Okay,
some stuff. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Alright, SpudBrooklyn. Where did that name come from?
I got the name Spud originally from basketball.
Okay.
I was always a short guy.
Okay.
But I always had the ability to jump and dunk and stuff like that. So I was named Spud. I hated it. But the name took a turn in prison.
Okay.
It stands for some people understand differently.
Okay.
A guy named Keith Carney introduced that to me during a riot. Everybody's fighting, and I stood up and I didn't do anything. And he said, "Yo, some people understand differently." And I'm like, "What you talking about?" He was like, "Spud." And I just adopted it from that point on.
Oh, wow.
Coming home, I was pursuing rap.
Okay.
And I still with the name Spud. And I put it in the search for MySpace.
Okay.
And someone had it. And I was like, everybody's like, Spud something. I'm like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. So I was like, SpudBrooklyn. And I put it from there, and I just kept branding it since then, and I never looked back. Never looked back.
You still communicate with the do you send them letters and still
everybody that I ever left behind, I wrote letters to.
Okay.
The last brother just came home, so my letters had stopped, but I wrote everybody till they were released.
Wow.
Nice.
How long were you there for?
13 years.
Wow.
13 years. I went in when I was 15, and I was released when I was 28 years old.
Wow. How did you adapt to it?
It's an unnatural environment. If you would have asked me that before my incarceration, I'd probably be like, there's no way I would go through that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go through it, you get through, you go through this anger, and I was able to translate my anger into activities that would help me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was sentenced to life, so I didn't know when I was actually going to be released, if ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of anger and frustration, but it was music. Music is what kept me going. Music was the only thing that didn't change in my life. Family members, sometimes it's hard to reach them. Collect calls run out and you can't reach, or people stop writing. But anytime I opened up my book or I listened to a song, I always had music. And music is something that now in my life I incorporate in everything I do because of that. I mean, even my studio is called Shoe Studio.
Yeah.
And that's the box in prison, solitary confinement, the special housing unit. I named my studio that because I always wanted to translate how music saved me.
Yeah. Wow.
And did you pursue writing? Was jail the turning point? Did you pursue writing there, or did you start way before that? Did you have a knack
before incarceration, I was part of a group called Assassins. Excuse the name. We were young. It was a hard time in Brooklyn. Everybody was tough, and so it was a bunch of young brothers, and we was writing there. We had a few songs, but I didn't take it serious, and the music didn't have meaning until incarceration, because now I have a lot of time to think.
You had a story to tell.
It wasn't just, yo, throw your guns in the air. It was, I actually wrote, content about how I was feeling. And, before incarceration, I lost my mother, so I never even dealt with mourning. I went from that to prison, and it hit me then. So that's when I really put my expression and my feelings on paper as musical sense.
Nice.
I didn't even know that.
You want to ask anything?
Nah.
He's like, wait, he's like, hey.
That would surprise me.
The logo on your hat.
Yes, I have a few logos on my hats. I have the hashtags and I have the I Owe You Nothings. The hashtags originally came from, growing up in Brooklyn. The first time I heard someone say he has numbers on his head meant somebody was paid someone to kill him.
Yeah.
And everyone used to ask, how much? And depending on the value, was the value of the person.
Yeah.
So if it was low, they'd be like, he ain't worth nothing. And I remember that conversation amongst adults, and it stuck with me for years. So when I started to think about the value of self, I came out with the hashtags like, put your own value on yourself. Why wait till then? The I Owe You Nothings was always a reminder to myself. Like sometimes we wake up, we go to work, we'll go to the club, we'll wake up drunk, hangover, go to work, and then come home and be like, I'm too tired to do anything, go to sleep. We pay out everybody else but ourselves.
Yeah.
So I told myself, like, I owe you nothing. I'm going to make sure I pay myself out first.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be too tired so I can't do it, because I know if I would have the responsibility to somebody else, I would do it for them.
Yeah.
So that's when I came out with the I Owe You Nothings and the hashtags. Just a reminder every time I wore it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was like my crown. Like, I put it on, and I refuse to wear any other hats. Like, those are the only hats you will see me really wearing.
Wow. Do you have a website and everything for
yes,
to purchase it?
SpudBrooklyn.com. You can go on SpudBrooklyn.com.
We'll put that in the below. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than rapping and writing and all the other stuff, and your logo, your studio, what else do you do?
Me and my partner, we do A&R work for the major labels.
Okay.
We find artists. Or sometimes they'll ask us for different things. We're looking for producers. We'll hit the ground, look for what they need, and then we shop it. We also do artist development, where labels will say, we're looking for female artists between the ages of this and this and this. We'll go and we'll groom them, and we work hands-on with them, so that way the recording process, the song content, we do it together to see where we could place this artist.
Wow.
Besides that, I also created my own nonprofit, which is called Spud Inc. Some people understand differently, where, again, I use music as an alternative approach to decision making.
Okay.
So I get these young adults, and sometimes adults themselves, to write music on their life.
Okay.
And in their music, I could tell where they at. So then I use that and ask them, like, let's create a remix. Let's write things you would create or recreate or even correct in your music. And that's how we detect ways that they can actually channel. So if a kid's running around doing robberies and he puts it in a song, I'll ask him, like, yo, what would you change? Like, if you could change anything in the song, let's write a remix about it. And I let them come up with the reasonings to change, rather than me saying, yo, homie, don't do that.
Yeah, don't put it in.
The beautiful thing about that, we were able to stop 2 gang wars. And the prison that I was actually in, my program is in that prison now. They called me to run the program. We stopped about 5 riots total.
Really? Nice.
We stopped going for about 8 months, and the jail called me back, like, please.
Like, come back.
Please come back.
My guess.
I didn't like how the jail was doing the program. The brothers were being truthful in their music. And it was revealing a lot. So now the jail is looking at the information, and now they treating the people differently. I didn't like that, because when I first started the program, I said, I need this as real as possible. If you want me to connect with them, you can't hold them back. And when I started to notice that, I just told him, I'm not coming no more. And we got to a medium. The jail worked with me, and the kids actually, I don't even want to say the kids, but the prisoners actually rioted not too long after I quit. And I had to send words to them like, yo, I'm going to come back for y'all.
Yeah.
So I drive every Wednesday. Every Wednesday I take a 5-hour drive. I go to the prison for 2 hours, and I drive right back 5 hours.
Wow. So where do you sleep?
In the car.
In the car.
Why you was setting up, standing? While I was standing up, setting up.
I need 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Wow.
So what major opportunities came to when you were released? Like, how did you go about your production? You're helping people in prison. You're doing the what was it that he said?
Nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
The nonprofit.
And A&R.
Yeah.
When I
Everything. Just everything.
I like
Busy
creating.
man.
Yeah.
I like creating, but when I was released, I always use this phrase like I was like a bird with a brick tied to his back. Like there was so much things that were placed for me to fail.
Yeah.
Even being on parole, I had to pay to be on parole. I had no job. On top of having no job, I was 15 when I went in. I had no work history.
Yeah.
So now, and my charge was murder.
Yeah.
So now I have a murder rap, no work history, and on parole. No one was hiring me.
Yeah.
I actually was selling weed to pay parole so I don't get violated.
Yeah.
You see the concept of that? Like I was breaking the law to stay free.
Yeah.
Just to pay parole. Those were the circumstances that I was placed. But it came to a realism when I sat down and I said to myself, I did 13 years in some of the most harsh environments. Like some of the environments, there was moments when I didn't know I was gonna be alive.
Yeah.
Between me getting stabbed or me having to stab someone or being shot at by an officer in the tower. I said, if I could experience that and make it out without a cut on my face, my manhood intact, I could give myself 13 years as a free man. And if I can't get something to pop off in 13 years as a free man, I'm back on the street.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I'm gonna give myself the same amount of time. If I can't make nothing happen, I'm gonna do what I know.
Yeah.
And fortunately, when I first came out, I was doing the music, and the manager, Shark, shout out to Shark, he put me in a lot of good predicaments with like Wu-Tang and Jim Jones, but parole was holding me back. So I did a songwriting situation where instead of rapping, I wrote a song and we pitched it to Avril Lavigne. It was for Evanescence. But RCA, Jive really was Jive. Jive said that they wanted to pitch it for Avril Lavigne, and she loved the record. And then that's when I got the idea that I got something with this music.
Yeah.
In the same time, NBC was looking for a song, and I wrote a song called Fiddle. I pitched it to them, and they picked it up. They used it for a commercial for about 40-something seconds, and I was gonna put the record for free on MySpace.
Okay.
They was writing a check for 40-something seconds. When the lawyer reached out to me and said, "You got robbed," I said, "How'd I get robbed? If they're gonna write me a $40,000 check for 40-something seconds, how'd I get robbed?" And he said, "You didn't negotiate reruns, DVD sales." That's when I said to myself, I gotta know this business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money that's missing, and I never looked back. From that moment, I just started to keep progressing.
Doing your research and
doing my
everything.
research, putting out music in between. That's when I built a studio. Took the time to build a studio, which was difficult. I don't want to keep going back, but I worked in a laundromat, only making $120 a week for 3 years. And I saved everything I had, and not everything, but I saved up $1,200. And I remember telling Eve, I think about buying a studio equipment. Now, I had no engineering insights or nothing. Everybody said I was crazy. You're gonna spend every single cent you got.
That you made it.
And I was like, I spent like the most valuable thing in my life was my life. I traded that. I gambled that with my case. I gambled it with prison. $1,200 ain't nothing.
Yeah.
That was the best thing I did. I spent every cent.
You were trying to make
and I
it.
bought all the wrong stuff. Like nothing worked.
Refund.
Yeah, nothing worked. It was terrible, but it was the ball rolling down the hill. It was the start, and now we got the studio. I mean, Def Jam uses our studio. tons of artists. We put out work. We do artist development. Like me and my partner Sincere. Shout out to Sincere. And it just kept snowballing to different business ventures, situations, and I didn't look back.
How do you balance work and family time?
It's difficult. I have this phrase that anything you invest in time in, something's gonna get neglected. And once you get the idea and the concept of that, as long as what you invest in your time in can balance out what's being neglected, you're good. Say for instance, if I'm not home for the whole week, at least that fridge will be full.
Yeah.
The doctors know everything will be like, I can't invest the time and then when I come back, I gotta reinvest more time to catch back up. So it's difficult, but it's possible. It's possible, but something will get neglected, you know. And then once you get that idea, you can maneuver.
Agreed. I never saw it that way.
Right. All right. Well, Spud, shit.
Spud, right?
SpudBrooklyn, you know?
Any other questions? Anything else? No?
He's like, yo, I'm just listening. I'm like, wow. He's like, I came in and shake the man's hand. I did not know any of this. All right. We want to now go into the Florida coach. How do you feel about that?
All right. So I have multiple mixed feelings about that. When me and my partner first saw it, I was like, damn, like the press that it gets and it gives off, like even the phrase of stop acting black.
Oh, but yeah, so there was a Florida coach that he had told one of
it was students. There was only one. It was a student.
Yeah, to stop acting black.
Yes.
So just before we started all that off.
And then the team of the coach jumped him. They beat him up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they beat him up. They jumped. I think it's even filmed.
Really?
I believe
you saw a video?
I think it's filmed. I read it. I didn't watch the video. I didn't need to watch it. You know what I'm saying? I read it and I was just like, yo, he got beat up.
Yeah.
You know, the condescending meaning behind stop acting black is really is tarnishing.
Yeah.
And the sad part about that is them doing what they did gives more meaning to when someone says stop acting black, because now that's the first thing people say. See?
That's why he said it.
You know, the bad part about that is a phrase like stop acting black just automatically puts black in a negative aspect. You know, stop acting black.
Yeah.
That just completely. So you know, them doing what they did kind of added.
It didn't help. It didn't help the fire. It didn't help, and
especially how media is relayed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that also tarnishes a lot of information and truth between different things. So that phrase right there and that whole thing, the whole incident, I get the frustration. Yeah. I get the anger, but the way they did it just added to the whole concept.
And do we know what they did? What happened? Why? I didn't even like.
I didn't, honestly. I heard of it and I was just like, what the hell? Like, why would he say that? I read a little bit onto it, but I did not know they jumped him.
They were mostly black, or it was a team?
It was his
basketball team.
They weren't black though.
Yeah.
For him to say stop acting black.
No.
No, it was a black kid.
It was a black kid.
Yeah.
It was black.
But that's a problem though, that you know what he mean too. Like that's a problem in society. Like what do you mean? Like stop acting black. Not everybody act the same way.
Yeah.
I believe the fact that he was a coach played a lot of it played a major role too, because you know. A lot of people, you know, above your stature believe that they can talk to you and feel some type of way and say what the first thing that comes to their heads, and sometimes that's not even the case. Like you shouldn't even keep that shit to yourself. Like there's what you're doing with all the social media, like he said, that's just bringing your character out. That's just like, I don't even know.
It's not a good. It's not. It's not a good view. It's not.
But the guy seemed reckless anyway. From the little bit I read about him, he had
the coach.
Yeah, he had he was sexting 15-year-old girls. He lost his teacher's license before.
He was a cool. Yeah, he was.
They revoked his teacher's license because I was like, he's just a reckless person in general.
Now, if the tables were turned and somebody would tell him stop acting white.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what do you guys feel about Black Lives Matter when that movement came about? It's still around.
Yeah.
But when it was really developed and everything, how did you guys feel about it?
It was a shout that I think needed to be shouted.
Yes. Yes.
My problem with that was the when people try to argue the all lives matter.
That's exactly what I'm talking
that's
about.
not what
it's
they
not
just.
what,
It's how everybody switches narrative of things. Like that was not the thing. Like they were just trying to point out, just like it wasn't saying nobody else didn't matter though. Like that.
Yes,
that was my problem.
And a lot of people that said that didn't understand that the reason Black Lives Matter and that stance took was for that very reason.
Yeah.
How quickly people try to change the narrative.
Exactly. Like, nobody said the other lives didn't. Like nobody else's lives didn't.
It was basically saying we do too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We do too. There's a lot of things in like the whole movement of the Black Lives that I think could have been restructured and aimed, but that's in everything.
No, of course.
You know what I'm saying? That's in everything. But I do think and know when Black Lives actually took that stance, it reflected and told us a lot about how society still needs maturing.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of growth that needs to be taking place. And I mean, like presidents like Trump has provoked that silent that silent crowd for he riled them up. He riled them up. So people are being more vocal with the ignorance and negativity.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting more immature because of social media.
Of course.
Like I seen like right after Kobe died, somebody made a little video. Yeah, I know, not a cartoon. Them acting out the plane crash.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not see
look
that.
at Gail too. The Gail, they're
Oh
giving
my
Gail
God.
Within like 2 days, I seen that video. I was like,
they're giving Gail King a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Like how do you try to crap talk a dead man? Like let him rest in peace.
First of all, when is even the time frame that you even allowed to even speak on somebody like that? Like the person just died.
Yeah.
Like there should be no reason that right off the bat you're aiming for him, like you're hitting at him. And then what happened with the girl on not social media, on the news, that she by mistake said nigga instead of, what was it, Knicks or something like that?
How do you get that?
Oh my God.
How do you get that confused?
She tried to come and say, she said, Nakers.
Yeah. How do you get that?
But I'm saying, wouldn't it be that serious if she come back trying to fix herself? Just leave it as a mistake, though. In my opinion, like if you trying to come back and fix it now, everybody being like, no.
Not even that. Now everybody's acknowledging, like, wait a minute, you just said something.
What was in your mental that made you switch?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. There's no she could have fixed it.
I'm saying she should have just let it go by. Even though after she made the mistake, if it was a mistake or whatever, I'm saying, but don't try to come back and try to explain yourself.
Wait, hold on a minute. No,
But
definitely what you said, like nobody, when Black Lives Matter, it wasn't to target, like it wasn't to be like nobody else is
to disregard everybody else.
It's just they're
the majority
Black,
the majority of people that are dying,
they don't get recognized. It's like there's always a freaking, even with Hispanics too. Oh, you're gangbangers, you're drug addicts, you're gonna start a fight, you're gonna rob me, you're gonna do this, you're gonna
decades of stereotypes.
It's not what it is. People's lives matter. We're all human. We all have the same. We all have freaking blood, bones, and all. Like we're all. At the end of the day, when we die, we're skeletons. We die in the same way. It shouldn't be that you disregard it because of somebody's color. It's not right. Yeah. Okay, so, cuz, do you want to say anything?
About this?
Yeah.
Oi. It's just it sucks because just like every culture and every ethnicity, we all have those group of people who have been raised different, who were raised to do, street things, or just had to do things to live life, and that shouldn't justify for every single person in that culture, in that ethnicity, and that's where everybody gets the wrong in people. Like they what's the word? They misinterpret certain individuals because they're basing their knowledge on
what they know.
Yes, what they know. Exactly. You get what I'm saying. And it shouldn't be that way. Not everybody needs to pay for eons and decades of
mistreat.
Yes, of other people's ways of living. Like us Hispanics or us Blacks, like we have certain individuals who just know about certain ways of living, and they have to do what they're programmed to do, and not everybody should pay for that, and not all of us are the same. But at the same time, it's hard to convince the upper hand that's not the case, and it sucks. You know, we have to live in fear every day of our lives because there's always going to be that one person who just
doesn't see it.
who just doesn't like.
They got the good life. They got the good end of the life.
Yeah.
And they're not seeing that. Listen, there are people who didn't have it like that, and that's why they do what they have to do. We're not saying it's right, but hey, it's the way that, like you said,
People are misguided every day. You know, every day.
All right, so we're gonna also introduce another guest. Her name is Shaliana. Shaliana, please come.
Come in.
Yeah, Mama
Come
I wish I was part of this conversation because I'm there. Listen, and I was like,
Speak on it, girl. Give us.
How do you feel about it?
How do you feel about what we just spoke about?
Being a Latina young woman, born in Puerto Rico, raised until I was 7, and then moving to New York, living in the projects, still living in the projects. I see what you guys are talking about on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Across the street, I have the precinct, the 23rd precinct.
Wow.
Across the street, I have the fire department. Here's one of the things. When something happens and you give the operator your address, you say building number 210, they already know, oh, homegirl, homeboy lives in the projects. They want to take their sweet time to come.
Wow.
But if you give them an address in Madison Avenue, 5th Avenue, maybe First Avenue, because First Avenue in Spanish Harlem, where I'm located, could be quote unquote kind of sketchy. It's one of those areas that growing up, your mom tells you at a certain time you shouldn't be around First Avenue because of certain activities, certain behaviors. But it's one of those things where, like, for me, like, getting outside my apartment, like, I have anxiety. It's one of those things where, like, what's going to happen? You see a group of Hispanics and black guys, and across the street there's 2 cop cars parked, just watching them, and you feel the tension. It's one of those things. Another thing that I was talking to a very long time ago, I think it was either in school or somewhere, I was having a conversation that a lot of the times when they put cops to patrol different areas, especially areas that involve gun violence, gang violence, primarily the projects, or low income neighborhoods, they don't put cops that kind of resemble the
scenery, like the atmosphere.
Not even the atmosphere, but doesn't resemble the tenants, the people, the community. Doesn't resemble the community. What they either put a white cop, an Asian cop, or someone who can't relate. And it's one of those things where, like, yesterday when I came home, I told you I went out yesterday and I got home, and sometimes the cops would be inside my building to patrol. It's one of those things, like, a lot of them say hi to me. If they say hi to me out of respect, of course I'm gonna say hi.
You're not gonna disrespect.
Yeah, but a lot of them just look at me up and down. It's like the same way that you're giving me, the same off vibe that you're giving me, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'm not gonna say hi to you. I know you're here because you have to be here. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be in this building. You don't want to see the in and out. You know what I mean? You don't want to be part of that.
You're not trying to add.
Yeah, you like I know you're doing a facade. It's like Hispanics say un fronte. It's fake. And I feel like to kind of fix that system, I feel like the NYPD should have like workshops of like
how to come about, like,
how to come about, or not even that, just like put cops that either grew up in the same neighborhood or same ethnicity into those communities, so the community doesn't have that fear.
They don't have to feel intimidated.
Because not all cops are bad. I have a couple of girlfriends of mine. The boyfriends are cops, and I know the individual. They're not cool. I mean, certain things, you know, like anybody, we don't agree on, but they do what they gotta do. But the bad cops kind of outshadow the good, and we all think all cops are bad. Period.
What about that girl on the train station? Now that she's talking
Yeah.
about
Oh my God, I wanted to talk about it so bad.
That the lady cop like
Push the
put her
girl.
hands on.
I seen.
Like you're as a student, you're not that ignorant and that oblivious to know that this girl's a student and she has a Metro card regardless.
Yeah.
You know, she could have went about that so. Man, if she would have put her hands on my daughter, that was my kid. If that was my kid,
Exactly. I actually got a lot of responses. I had posted up on Instagram and I got a lot of responses back from it. Like you said, I'm not saying nothing towards all cops. It's just a simple fact that you could have went about it. Yes.
A whole different.
Yes.
the majority.
Yes.
The majority.
The girl went and it was a student, she jumped over the turnstile. Now, there's another thing coming out saying that she jumped over it while the gate was open and the cops were there. So basically it was like a fuck you to the cops, excuse my language. But again, she's young. She's seen everything on social media. She's dark skinned. She wants to be a student activist. So if she jumps the turnstile and has it filmed, all you gotta do is be like, you're a cop, right? Be like, hey, I'm gonna give you a ticket.
Yep.
I saw what you did. Just don't do it again. I'm gonna give you a ticket. We'll keep it moving. If she's recording that and she starts to get up, then you have every right to be like, listen, it's not my fault. I gave her a ticket. I didn't put my hands on her. Nothing like that. I was just doing my job. No, instead, you decided to push and push and push all the way until she got outside. Then her telling you, I need to go home. You're telling her she can't go into that station.
She's banned from it.
She's banned from it. So God forbid something wants to happen from her walking to another train station. That's on a cop. All because you couldn't do a thing and be like, listen, I understand you trying to do it, trying to be famous, whatever the case is. Here's a ticket.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving. That's
The
it.
thing is, at least she didn't give her the ticket though. She told her to just leave, but I don't like how you can't ban them. Like she got to get home.
I like put my hands on her.
Facts.
No reason to.
All that.
No
You see,
reason to.
Like the PDs, period, the police departments, they fall under a banner, and it's cultural. The police departments, the creation of it was during slavery to manage runaway slaves. Like this is their culture.
Yeah.
For me, like it's gonna be very difficult for that to mesh and for them to get the insights to relate to the community. But I think one of the biggest things to start with is if they follow procedure. I don't care if you hate me. If you follow procedure, then things would be right.
Yeah.
They don't follow procedure.
They
Half of them don't
they
know
bend the rules.
procedure to even follow. They just go as is. And the more they keep doing it and it gets overlooked or passed, it just gives them the more freedom for those who target now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because some of them are just ignorant.
Yeah.
But then you have those who target and push the limits. And if you can't stricken the procedures that they have to follow or the proper training, then we just gonna keep having these conversations.
Yeah.
I just saw this. I don't know if you guys saw it. Just this morning, I saw that the Bronx got shot up in a precinct.
They shot up a precinct?
Yeah. I don't know the whole story, so we're not gonna really go into details with it.
Yeah.
But the Bronx.
We'll talk about it next show.
We definitely will.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
All right. So
Shali,
you want to circulate? Hey, Shali.
you got some questiones?
All right, Shali.
First
That's
question.
it. Yeah.
Why you got into modeling?
I honestly, I was growing up. I was never photogenic. It was one of those things where like I felt forced to take photos with family members. Being a Latina, every celebration they need receipts.
Oh my God!
Excuse me. They need receipts. First communion, confirmation, baptism. If your mom wasn't in the after school show, they had the neighbor come and take a photo, and you like, this is, but I went to a performing arts high school, and my junior year, that's when I kind of broke out my shell. Like, I was a vocal major. I was in a choir in school, and people always knew I knew how to sing. But they were like, Shali, like, just do a solo. Because when you're a choir, no one can hear your individual voice, because in a choir the voice is supposed to blend. The harmonies with the alto, soprano, all of those parts. But then there was a fashion show, because in my school there was a fashion major. So a good friend of mine, who I'm still friends with, wanted to use me as a model.
Okay.
And I was like, Josh, this is going to go south. I cannot walk in heels. He's like, no, Mom, it's gonna be a wedge and blah 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 blah. He was making it seem like it was going to be something tiny. No. It was something very dramatic, and like obviously this runway practice. And then I did it. It was great. It was fantastic. But still, I didn't see myself doing the modeling thing or anything that has to do with runway after high school. Senior year, a good friend of mine too, she was taking college courses in Parsons and New School for photography, although she was still in high school, but she was taking college courses. So when she graduated and she decided to go to that school, she would have those credits. So to build up her portfolio for her class and stuff like that, she would use me as a model. And then when I would get the pictures back, I'm like, oh shit, I'm pretty. I'm pretty. Like I was there, the glow was real. No, but I felt good, cause growing up, also being the only child, and living with your grandmother, living with your mom, my self-esteem was very low. Getting bullied in school, not having enough money to go out and do my hair. So my hair is curly, naturally curly, wavy hair. But my mom is the total opposite. My mom has straight hair. Having straight hair, she didn't know how to work with my hair. Yeah. So my grandmother, the best idea, let's do rollers on the girl. Uno rolo. So then me having curly wavy hair and you do rollers and me sleeping with that, my hair will look like a mini fro. So a lot of people in school didn't understand the way I was brought up. Yes. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes. So people will make fun of me. Oh, look at your hair. Your hair's so ugly. Oh my God. And that's when I started breaking out too. Oh, look at those pimples. The whole saying connect the dots and all of that. So yeah, with me feeling that and me seeing the pictures, it's like my self-esteem started going up. But I still, by then when I was a senior, I still didn't think that I wanted to pursue it. Graduate high school, and it really started to blossom and I started enjoying it once I started going to college to LaGuardia, and when I started working at H&M. Oh, wow. When I started working at H&M, I met my very good friend Camila. Shout out to you. She added me on Instagram, but on my Instagram, I will only take selfies. Yeah. And when you take selfies, your angles. Yeah. And I do my own makeup on my photo shoots. She would be like, yo, you're really good, you're very pretty, have you thought about modeling? Yeah. And I told her, I was like, I told her I'd done it in the past, but I've never taken it serious. Yeah. And she told me her backstory. She said that she came from Argentina to the States to pursue a career in New York, in New York in general, but that she studied film and she's into photography now. So she wanted to use me as a model. Yeah. I was like, why not? Mind you, the first time we did a photo shoot, we only did 4 photos, and it was testing shots. Yeah. To see if the lighting was fine, because it started pouring. We wanted to do it outside. It started pouring, and we were like, okay, this is not gonna work out. But then we went back to her apartment and she downloaded the photos onto her computer to edit, and she was like, Shali, these are good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, here, look. These weren't even the real photos or nothing. Yeah. These were just the touch shots, but these are good. And I looked at them, and it reminded me of something that my grandmother would always tell me, you're very photogenic. And I feel like once I grew confidence, and I guess we could say I glowed up. It really came through. Yeah. And then with her throughout the years, when I still working at H&M, I started doing more photo shoots with her. Oh wow. And then with that, social media. I started the hashtags is very helpful.
Yeah.
So we're doing hashtags. And then photographers were reaching out to me.
Oh.
And that's how I also met another good friend of mine, Errol.
Yeah.
He takes my photos too. The storm before the sunshine. Since I left you, I've been rolling like a penny, giving my nights to so many, but alone I sleep. In the daytime, I wake and then I slumber, drink if I want to, my mind isn't my own. You drowned all of my demons, but maybe I got used to that. I saw a future, but yours was without me, and deep down I knew you needed to grow. Freedom doesn't come for free, and it has cost us. The promise has been broken. No matter what, let's be friends forever. The words are unspoken. May only in my dreams, may you lay next to me, may your head rest on top of my chest, that way and only that way, you'll be able to hear how broken you have left it. And it will take me by surprise if I ever see you again, and honestly, I will never want to see you again. Because again and again and again, I keep getting let down, and may only in your dreams, may you lay next to her, may you feel the deep sorrow that this and only this has cost me, and only if only it should hit you. When you are in bed with the next one, instead of me being a presence in your life, please make sure I become a memory, because that's what you made me turn you into.